There's just no way that Israel could just like maintain a permanent occupation of the Gaza Strip. I mean, it's tiny. The Gaza Strip is a tiny sliver of land. So I guess it's not as difficult.
Careful. I thought we agreed that it was an occupation the entire time. Now you're saying that they couldn't have an occupation there? Or you're saying the occupation would be meaningfully different? Or what?
I think they are trying to do full ethnic cleansing. Like at most, they will try to turn the Gaza Strip into a West Bank style structure with a civil governance division that is tied to Israel in the same way that the Palestinian Authority is. And
so yeah, everybody hates the Palestinian Authority. So Hasan undermines it as well. Yeah, they're bro. No one gives a who, dude. If you're a Palestinian, I guess you. Yeah. Oh God.
Benjamin Netanyahu,
free of Gaza, and to pass it to civilian governance.
Brother, oh my Lord. This is illegal, by the way, under international law. Everything Israel does is illegal. Israel is an illegal entity. Israel, in the way that it currently exists and has expanded so consistently, has violated numerous international laws. It does not matter. International law only matters as far as there is, people who are willing to entertain international law, to regulate it.
International law only matters when everybody is playing by international law. If only one side is going to be enforced, then nobody's going to listen to it. Remember, I've said this a million times. I don't even know if Hasan knows the bad shit that Netanyahu is saying. A lot of this interview with Netanyahu was undermining the establishment of a unified Palestinian government. That's the insidious stuff that's happening here. But he's probably just going to focus on like lay epic genocide or whatever. International humanitarian law seeks to balance two different things, two objectives: the protection of populations that are not parties to combat, okay, civilian populations, and a nation's ability to conduct war. Both of those things are equally important. If either gets out of balance or if only one side is forced to adhere to it, then it completely crumbles and falls apart.
International law is inconsequential. In the simplest terms, whatever America says goes. If America doesn't think what Israel is doing is bad, then it doesn't matter. Israel can do whatever it wants to. Yes, he wants the population to be free of Gaza. That's what it was a Freudian slip, but it's more honest than anything else he said.
Are you saying today that you will take control of the entire 26-mile Gaza Strip, as it was 20 years ago to this month in 2005?
Well, we don't want to keep it. We want to have a security perimeter. We don't want to govern it. We don't want to be there as a governing body. We want to hand it over to Arab forces that will govern it properly without threatening us and giving Gazans a good life. The Hamas are policy that themselves are trying to put into being, and we're doing everything to reverse that.
Also, here's another incredible moment. Via Amit Segal, the Trump administration is considering granting U.S. citizenship to 20 living hostages in Gaza to increase the chances of their release. This motherfucker will do anything but put an end to the genocide, bro. I swear to God. Like, this is the type of shit that's really going to piss off his base. Like, who is this for, man? Take Israel's out of your mouth for...
This is, it's just unhinged, bro. Oh my God, dude. Everybody around the world loves dead Palestinians. It's just so good for them. If you're an Israeli actual genocidal freak, it makes you feel good. If you're Hasan, you love it because it gives you more shit to talk about. If you're in the international community, it gives you more rage bait. Hamas releasing all the hostages, I feel like that would undermine Israel's domestic support for the war in Gaza. It's a feeling I have. I could be wrong, but it takes a really big thing off the table. Or if Hamas was willing to say, hey, we'll give all the hostages back, although Hamas has to agree also not to govern. But that's also fair, bro. It's fucking Hamas. They're crazy. I think the Israeli military would lose a lot of moral authority in the conduct in the Gaza Strip. I mean, as long as they still have it, they can keep pointing to that. Hostage.
1 second and try to think. Like, this is crazy. I'm not a firm and committed believer in the whole, like, Benjamin Netanyahu is compromise on Donald Trump, that Mossad has, like, a compromising footage of Donald Trump. But every single day, he behaves like a man who's caught children, okay, in the archives of like Unit 8200's basement or something.
No, he's just a boomer that has an undying and unwavering love and support for Israel and hates Arabs. He's a fucking New York City real estate guy. What, do you think this guy has love for fucking Muslims or Palestinians, for Arabs? Come on, what? What? Like you don't need compromise to explain Trump's undying support for Netanyahu.
Other day, he behaves as though there is just photographic evidence of his philia or something. I don't understand what this is. Like, it doesn't make any sense. And I know people will clip this and be like, Hasan doesn't want the hostages to be released. It's like, dude, there is a solution to releasing the hostages. It's called ending the genocide. What the is happening, man? I tried to mention this yesterday, but we'll see how successful they are in their attempt to occupy all of Gaza when they are being forced to make reserve battalions with soldiers up to 50 years old due to lack of manpower. I know. They can't do that without like forcibly conscripting the Haredi population, which will cause tremendous internal strife in Israel, in Israeli politics, because the Orthodox will say, no. There's just no way that Israel could just like maintain a permanent occupation of the Gaza Strip. I mean, it's tiny. The Gaza Strip is a tiny sliver of land. So I guess it's not as difficult.
Careful. I thought we agreed that it was an occupation the entire time. Now you're saying that they couldn't have an occupation there? Or you're saying the occupation would be meaningfully different? Or what?
Difficult as like Russia permanently occupying the entirety of Ukraine or even the eastern Ukrainian territories.
Wait, what?
Could just like maintain a permanent occupation of the Gaza Strip. I mean, it's tiny. The Gaza Strip is a tiny sliver of land. So I guess it's not as difficult as like Russia permanently occupying the entirety of Ukraine or even the eastern Ukrainian territories for a decent number of years.
Also, I'm trying to think. I don't know the answer to this question. I should know the answer to this question. I know that there were a lot of Jews that lived in Gaza prior to 2005, but Israel didn't govern the Gaza Strip, did they? It was governed by the PLO, right? Am I making that up? Who was the government of the actual governing body in the Gaza Strip prior to 2005, prior to the disengagement? Like in Oslo 1 and Oslo 2, like I know about like Hebron and all that bullshit that they do in the West Bank, but I feel like I have nothing in my brain about who governed the Gaza Strip. I'm not sure.
Years, but even then, they just can't do that without full ethnic cleansing, which is why I think they are trying to do full ethnic cleansing. Like
it might have been the Palestinian Authority everywhere else. Okay, and then martial law in the Israeli settlements. Okay, so similar-ish to the West Bank.
Most, they will try to turn the Gaza Strip into a West Bank-style structure with a civil governance division that is tied to Israel in the same way that the Palestinian West Bank-style structure. I think they are trying to do full ethnic cleansing. Like at most, they will try to turn the Gaza Strip into a West Bank-style structure with a civil governance division that is tied to Israel in the same way that the Palestinian Authority is. And
so everybody hates the Palestinian Authority. So Hasan undermines it as well. Yeah, they're fucked, bro. No one gives a fuck. Fuck, dude. If you're a Palestinian, I guess fuck you. Yeah.
And then continue whatever the they're doing in the West Bank in Gaza.
Governance division. This is what I mean. This is from the ultra pro-Palestinian side. They undermine the PA because they think they're just basically a security subcontractor for Israel. Yeah.
Gaza, which is, pogroms, more land acquisition, and the inevitable expulsion of every single person. Do you think they're also doing this to hide the actual death toll once this genocide is over? Yes. That is the major reason.
I like how they say the West Bank, including East Jerusalem, has been under military occupation by Israel since June 7th, 1967, when Israeli forces captured the territory, then ruled by Jordan. Shouldn't that say occupied by Jordan? But okay.
Inevitable expulsion of every single person. Do you think they're also doing this to hide the actual death toll once this genocide is over? Yes. That is the major reason. As I said time and time again, Israel cannot do a permanent ceasefire because once the dust settles and there are, inevitably, there are going to be Western forces that intervene. There's going to be Western journalists that go in. There's going to be Western investigators that go in. And when the dust settles and they see the true magnitude of this genocide, it's over.
Why did you peddle shit about moving Gazans out and talk about other Arab countries taking them in? Don't you think that's irresponsible advocating for ethnic cleansing? Based. You have a huge brain.
That go in, and when the dust settles and they see the true magnitude of this genocide, it's over.
And also the reason you see the flattened buildings is because Hamas booby traps every single building. So when we come in, we first have the population moved, even though Hamas tries to keep them in the combat zones. But after they move, and we start to move into the neighborhoods that are now populated only by terrorists, they ignite these booby traps. So what we do is we put in an APC, an armored personnel carrier, with a lot of explosives, detonate it. It sets off all the booby traps, and the buildings begin to collapse as a result of that. They're empty buildings. They're not populated buildings. Secondly, they've built this underground terror tunnel network with billions of dollars that they had. They didn't build Gaza up.
Fucking liar. Fucking liar. Who believes these fucking lies? Fucking lies.
They built a Gaza terror city underground. So we now detonate
liars.
the tunnels.
Can Fox not fact check any of this? Bro, CNN doesn't even fact check this. Why would Fox? Like, every single thing he's saying is insane and completely wrong. Is there a tunnel system under Gaza? Absolutely. Except, once again, you don't have any right to keep killing Gazans. Like, what the do you mean?
Yeah, okay, so maybe the city of Zion, maybe there are hundreds and hundreds of kilometers of tunnel underneath, okay, the Gaza Strip, sure, maybe.
Oh, there's a terror system. There's a terror tunnel system underneath. Okay, you have one too. The do you mean? Do we just nuke?
Yeah, true. Well, they did the thing in Brooklyn, right?
Tel Aviv then? What are you talking about?
You deny this charge of genocide.
Totally.
That's what you're saying.
Totally.
But last week, and you referred to it a few moments ago, President Trump mentioned the word starvation. And he pretty much said it is what it is.
I thought you weren't supposed to call them Gazans. Oh, shit, did he do that? Uh-oh.
From his observation, looking at video and pictures. Were you surprised by that?
No, look, I think President Trump has been terrific. He's supporting us in so many ways. And he understands that we have to get rid of Hamas. He understands that Hamas is also using their own interdiction tactics to prevent humanitarian aid going. So there's been shortages, no question about that. There's been also suffering. And what I intend to do with President Trump, we talked about that and agreed upon that, is to overcome this.
Surprised he didn't put up the article about the IDF and the UN's thing, but.
With a humanitarian surge. So we're opening up safe routes through which aid trucks can go through. We're going to try to quadruple the distribution points that are manned by Americans. And they're doing a hell of a job distributing food to Gazans without Hamas taking over the food. And that's really what we're doing. And airdrops that we intend to do, we're already doing. And we invite other countries to join us. So
I guess it's important to see how he's lying. I don't even know how to, I don't know where to begin.
I feel like this would have been the Haaretz article that his editor should have shown. IDF officials say no evidence that Hamas systematically stole UN aid in Gaza, the New York Times reports. I'm surprised this wasn't the article that he tried to show her that, but okay.
Airdrops are not a sustainable way to deliver aid, okay? The international humanitarian organizations have all criticized the aid drops as the only aid delivery mechanism. As I already explained, there are 400 aid distribution sites inside of the Gaza Strip that were operated by the United Nations. There are thousands of trucks lined up outside of the Gaza Strip, filled to the brim with aid, waiting to be delivered. Israel is refusing to deliver this aid. They're just sending moldy bread and crumbs of food so that the international community can do a PR initiative and to allow Israel to continue its starvation, allow Israel to continue its genocide. The idea that they are going to permanently occupy the Gaza Strip militarily is, and openly admitting to that, is just an active recognition of the final solution. There is no permanent military occupation of the Gaza Strip by the Israeli state. This would be tremendously bloody for all of the Israeli military. They have to do this after genociding the entire Palestinian population. There's no other way that they can do this. And I suspect, and I mean, it's not even a suspicion at this point. It just, we're seeing it unfold in broad daylight. They are trying to ethnically cleanse the entirety of the Strip. They are trying to play this song and dance in an effort to not have like Western leadership basically say, we're going to invade Israel militarily. What the are you doing?
No one is invading. Bro, if the surrounding Arab states don't even give a fuck about invading Israel, why the fuck do you think any Western country is going to go and invade Israel? What?
President Trump given the green light for your plan to take over the remaining 25% of Gaza and occupy all of it?
Well, he understands that it's Israel who's going to do the fighting. It's not American soldiers.
Did he give you a yes?
Well, he just says, I know Israel will do what it has to do, and we haven't gotten into that kind of discussion.
You know what's funny? You know what I just realized? Didn't Hasan joke about me agreeing a lot with Nazis or something when he was talking about my CNN thing? When him and Charlie Kirk debate, it's been a long time since they debated last.
I'm debating Charlie Kirk at Dartmouth University next month.
If Charlie Kirk is smart, Charlie Kirk and Hasan are going to have a huge overlap on a lot of different things. I wonder how that debate's going to go.
But we have gotten into a discussion on two things. One,
believe it or not, the Trump admin plans to further increase the reality distortion.
Charlie will support Israel, though. Charlie Kirk will certainly support Israel, but he'll definitely be in favor of not having the United States being involved directly and that there should be no U.S. intervention. Maybe might be against the bombing of the Iranian reactors. Maybe. I'm sure he supported it on Twitter, though, because Trump did it. But I feel like because they're both like hyper-populist, authoritarian types who have a disdain for liberal democracy. They're going to have a lot of stuff they could agree on. It's going to depend on how, I guess, Charlie decides to navigate that convo.
Field. The Trump admin plans to dramatically cut criticism of human rights abuses in Russia, Israel, and El Salvador in the upcoming State Department reports. The Post compared drafts to past reports. What I actually fear is maybe it's not over after the dust settles. What I actually fear is that like Western journalists go in, they cover it. All of these like humanitarian rights organizations go in and they cover the full magnitude, the full scale of the atrocities. The media still tries to do a pressure campaign, a censorship campaign, and people still go along with that same, now even more expanded permission structure for Israel. That is what I'm actually worried about. But I know that in his calculation, Benjamin Netanyahu worries that when they see the true magnitude, it will be undeniable that Israel has committed a genocide. And at that stage, I think the global community will take action against Israel. That is what he fears.
Let Gaza be governed by a civilian authority that is not Israel.
I don't even know how much Netanyahu gives a fuck about, because the global community, you guys have pushed it so far. I don't even know if he gives a fuck anymore. My guess is his biggest concern is domestic support, and then the support of the countries around him are going to be the most important thing for Israel. Because you guys have been just screeching genocide for 2 years. Like, the fuck doesn't matter.
Because I don't want to occupy Gaza forever. I don't want to govern Gaza. I want to have a different governance there that basically is willing to live in peace with Israel and give Gazans a different future. That's entirely different.
Thank you, says Palestinian prisoners.
Like, how interesting is it? I understand nobody gives a fuck about this. How interesting is it that Hasan hates the idea of the Palestinian Authority being in charge of the West Bank or the Gaza Strip because they're just an Israeli sub-government division or whatever. But Netanyahu doesn't want the Palestinian Authority to be in charge of the Gaza Strip either. Interesting how they both seem to hate them.
They should be shot and starved. I guess I just think that Israel's national security minister...
Entirely different.
Thank you, says Palestinian prisoners should be shot and starved. I guess I just think that Israel's national security minister bragging about starving Palestinian prisoners and putting a bullet in their head should have made the news. I'm surprised that I've had to dealt with questions. If the Palestinian prisoners have a fruit basket or not. And I say Palestinian prisoners must be killed, shot in the head. The law of executing prisoners will be passed on the third reading in the Knesset, and the law will mean we will give them a little to live on and nothing more.
I never trust these translations anymore. But this guy is fucking unhinged and insane. It wouldn't surprise me at all if he said this, so that's what it is.
I mean, yeah, he also celebrated recently saying like they come in fat and leave thin when talking about starving prisoners. How many people in the West know that Israel's blocked the Red Cross from visiting Palestinian prisoners since October 7? Literally today, the state is in court seeking its 20th delay, citing national security. I'm telling you, it's the worst double standard there is. Anything Israel has ever claimed about Hamas, they have done a million times worse. The only reason why Israel can continue this propaganda initiative also is because of pure racism through and through. Because Palestinians do live there. And they have communicated their own demise. They show it with the limited amount of internet that they have. They literally film this and go, this is what they're doing to us. But because we are an incredibly racist Western civilization society, we don't even listen to them. At least you do. Many of you in here do that. And that's the reason why you're 3, 4, sometimes 5 months ahead of where mainstream discourse is going. Because for mainstream press in the Western world, it's only newsworthy when it's far too late to do anything about it. Only then do they ever cover the events that are unfolding?
Like it's just such a fucking naive and childish political analysis. Like if that was the case, then why aren't we ardently defending Ukraine? Because Ukrainians are getting fucking raped by Russians for, you know, a year plus, and we don't seem to be giving a fuck about that. If it's just about racism, if it's just about, sorry, 3 years. Wait, it was 2022, 2023? 3.5 years, not a year. 3.5 years.
There is perhaps no better representation of this than the famine stuff that's going on right now. The famine discourse is going on. Famine doesn't happen overnight. There are food stockpiles that need to diminish, that need to deplete. So for months, we said Israel's blockade is going to lead to a famine. There is a percentage of the population of Palestinians that...
No, that's not what you said for months. You said they were starving and starving and starving and starving and starving and starving and starving. That's what you said.
...are actively speaking out and actively talking about massive inflation in the marketplaces and how little food they have in the strip, that famine is imminent, famine is imminent, famine is imminent. It took hundreds of starving children to die and be photographed for people to finally go, okay, I guess famine did happen. How did this happen though? We don't know. What do you mean we don't know? You don't listen to the Israelis that are saying famine is happening and we like it. You don't listen to the Palestinians that are saying...
Why would you listen to any Israelis? I thought they were all inbred, crazy, genocidal freaks that all need to be like the settler babies they are, right? Like he just undermines his own message so much.
We are being starved by Israel. And then after the events unfold and you start seeing the death and destruction, only then you turn around and...
Fucking retarded.
Protests are being seen across Israel.
Destiny, the Ben Giver video is a mistranslation of Palestinian prisoners from Nukbas, aka Hamas's elite commando units who committed October 7th. Ben Giver is a genocidal, communist, terrorist maniac, though. Oh, okay, maybe.